more classes for this value-added courses, and we will be continuing with that. And here we will start. Today's class will be on focusing on these matrices. These are the topics I plan to cover. I do not know all of them can be completely explained, but the flavors will be given to you, and then the programs are available. You can always spend your time and then understand more about them. Okay. So therefore, it's not an issue at all, but I'll try to touch up on most of the things. Matrices, what do they mean to you? Matrix operation, performing Gaussian elimination, minus and cofactors, working with the large matrices, solving systems of linear equation, vector space, eigenvalues, eigenvectors, visualizing the linear transformations. So this is what the idea which we are going to start now. I have shown some plots which you can practice it, which I have closed it now by clicking these cells. But I just wanted to you people to think about this thing, like plotting a point in a plane involves, there's going to be an arithmetic, there's going to be an algebra, and there's going to be geometry. These are very closely linked to the matrices also. Okay, graphing linear and nonlinear functions and relations. Okay, that's also can be seen. Now, this is the simple function x plus y equal to 7. What you can do now, you can create a table for this. That's what you call this arithmetic that you are going to do, where you are going to solve this equation and make a table of that and make a plot of that. Okay. So you have an algebra here. This is an algebra. So where I'm changing the x, I'm getting it. I'm not writing y is equal to, but I'm just putting it x plus y equal to 7 as it is, in which I'm just changing the x alone from 0 to 10. I'm making a table of x and y. So which means x plus y always kept as 7, and that is what the plot is. Okay. So this involves, there is an arithmetic. We try to do the arithmetic here, and algebra is also involved because it's an algebraic equation. And when you graph it, you are going to see a geometry. It's going to be a straight line, or it can become a two-dimensional. You can have other pictures that are possible, other type of figures that are possible. So like this, I have listed out about 5, 6 curves, and then I just made a plot of them. I just leave it to you to go through them and understand how these plots are done with this kind of an arithmetic operations. Algebraic operations are the geometry which you are going to see. All of them are very simple graphs, nothing great here. And this is what your graph is. Okay. And you can look at the table. This is the numbers. So x plus y all the time equal to 7. That's what this numbers indicates. You can see the okay. This is how we'll be writing it as a. So this origin is fixed, and there is a spacing between them. There are parallel. Okay, these are the parallel lines. You see the vertical and horizontal, the parallel lines uniformly that is there. So your origin is fixed, and you have a parallel to x-axis, parallel to y-axis. That's what the curve is. There's no bend. Okay, they're all parallel, 90 degrees. And if I move along this from here to here, for example, 0, 1 is lying here. Okay, you agree with me? This point is 0, 1, that is 0, 2 here. Similarly, here it is 0, y along this is 0, 1 is here. Yes, so 0, 2 is here. And with respect to these points, again, you can see this is going to be x value and this is corresponds to y value. That's how this x comma y that is being given here. And then we made a plot. They are very closely connected to the linear algebra, these things. Okay, we can transform and then make it as a vectors, each one of them, and then try to connect them. That's the idea. That's why I have given this. Okay, so this can be represented, each one of them, x can be represented as a vectors. For example, if you move from here to here along the x-axis, you have all the possible values of x and y that can also be represented in the form of a vectors, and that vectors can be represented in the form of a matrix also. Okay, so two things are important. Origin should be fixed And you should always have a parallel and perpendicular lines, which is 90 degrees. So this is the basis now. 0, 1 and 1, 0 is the basis. 0, 1, and then see this is 0, 1 and 1, 0. This is the basis now for this making a plot. And this is consistently followed in other plots. And we can have these lines evenly spaced. Okay, these are all evenly spaced with respect to x and y. But make sure that they are all perpendicular when you talk about linear algebra. So please remember that origin should be fixed and the line should be always parallel and evenly spaced. Okay. The even spacing need not be a unit, whatever the unit which you like, you can make it as a 1 unit of that. For example, in the x-axis, there are 2 lines which has been taken as 1 unit. Here, 1 line is taken as the 1 unit, but of course, there is in between, there is another line sitting here. Okay, so that doesn't matter for us. So please remember that that should be kept in mind so that we are sure that we try to have a lot of understanding by keeping the origin fixed and keeping these parallel lines and perpendicular lines, which is when you are along this x-axis, all of them are parallel lines. This is y lines are parallel, and each one of these points can be represented, okay, in terms of the vector like. If you want, you can make it as a vector like. For example, this is a one vector which can be represented as, what is it? X equal to 0, y is equal to, this is 7. This is another vector here, another vector. Similarly here, this way. Like this, it's possible to represent them. So therefore, it's very closely connected to the things which we are going to. This space now is only linear vector space now. The space which we, whatever which is explained, and then this we are going to play around and try to understand what is things that are happening when you have multiplying this kind of vectors that you represent in the form of a matrix, and then try to understand more and lot about the physical system also. So that's what we try to do by this simple plot. So you just go through them and try to have some idea about the representations. We have an understanding of the algebra, and then, as I said here, arithmetic, algebra, and geometry all will be possible now. Okay, so now let's go to the matrix now. Matrix, what do you mean by, what do they mean to you? So let's take the simple case where you have a question here. So 3 shopkeepers, A, B, C, go to the store to buy stationery. A purchases 12 dozen notebooks, 5 dozen pens, 6 dozen pencils. B purchases 10 dozen notebooks, 6 dozen pens, and 7 dozen pencils. C purchases 11, 13, and 8. A notebook costs this much. A pen costs this much. The pencil costs this much. Use matrix multiplication to calculate the each individual bills. So now you can see A, B, C. These are all very simple for us to understand. And these are all in terms of dozens. So therefore, what you have to do, we are writing this in a matrix form. And these are the items A purchased. Same items again B, same item B, C. So therefore, this can be represented in the form of a matrix. And cost of each one of them, okay, has been put in a column form. And if you multiply this with this, this with this, this with this, correspondingly, I will get it. The cost for each the person, how much to be paid for the 3 different items. And that is represented in terms of the dozen. Therefore, it's multiplied by a common factor 12. So this is the simplest thing that you can put it in the form of matrix. And there are many things that are available in this form. One can really make out. The grocery shop fellow, he is simply just using this computer and then just clicks the item, whatever you are purchasing, and the price will be clicked automatically. It calculates and adds up and gives the numbers, and then finally it adds all of them, and you are able to get the bill within no time. Okay, that is where the matrices that is being used there. So you can see here that can be done with the help of a simple statements by using a Mathematica. This is these 3, 1, 2, 3, or whatever you have. This is what the in Mathematica we will write like this: 12, 5, 6. Okay, 12, 5, 6, and then 6, 10, 6, 7 is the next item for the next person. Third one is for the third person, 11% C. 11, 13, and 8. So 11, 13, and 8, what does it mean? He is buying the notebook, pens, and pencils. That's what the column, each column represents. Okay, now we have this. And if you transpose this, then you are handling in terms of this is the row. This is what your row. To transpose, this column becomes row. Okay, that's what the Mathematica way of handling things. Please remember that this is your row. This is second row. This is third row. If you make a transpose, then it will get transformed to the, this will come 12, 10, 11 will be the first one. The second will be 5, 6, 13, and then 6, 7, 18. That's what will happen. You make a transpose. Cost of each item is given. That also has been taken here. Then cost per dozen. Per dozen is, this is what the cost per dozen each one are. Multiply by cost paid by A, B, C are 12 into cost per dozen. This is what the number, which is same as what you have here. Okay, this is what we will be doing in Mathematica to handle the matrices form of the numbers. Okay, this is near numbers and that's being handled very comfortably to evaluate these numbers of this kind of computations. So you find that this is going to be very common applications, okay, the general applications of these matrices. Okay, you can have a number of such things that can be, you can have any number of columns that you would like. You can add a number of persons here. You can have infinite number of persons, and the same price can be retained and that can be calculated, and you'll get the total. Just like that, you can add them. You can add all of them, that is the total cost spent each person, A, B, C. Next, another interesting problem. A trust fund had this 50,000 that is to be invested into two types of bonds. Okay, they are investing this for two types of bonds. The first bond pays 5% interest per year and the second bond pays 6% per year. Using matrix multiplication, determine how much to divide rupees 50,000 among the two types of bonds. There are two types of bonds. So as to obtain an annual total interest of 2,780. This is what the annual total interest. But what kind of a division that should be done so that this would be your so-called the total annual interest. And this 5%, 6% is a variable number. It can be varied depending on the bond type which you buy. Okay, correspondingly, there will be a division of this 50,000 should be done. And this is also again interesting to look in terms of the matrices. To start with, right. See, let us let rupees 50,000 be invested into two parts, X and 50 minus X, in which the first part is invested in the first type of bond and the second part is invested in the second type of bond. Two amounts can be written in the form of a row matrix. This is what your row matrix. And the interest per 100 rupees annually for the two bonds. This is what this 5 by 100, 6 by 100. Which can be written in the form of a column matrix. You write it like this. Total interest per year. This is what the total interest that you will be getting. That's already been given as 2780. Now we solve this equation and comparing this. Simplify this. So when you simplify, you will get X is this much. And the remaining will be 50 minus X. Okay. So the required amounts are 22,000 and 28,000 is the amount. That is what the splitting that goes on. 50,000 rupees to invest on the 5% interest and the 6% interest per annum. Okay, which means the required amounts are this and this, and the difference between amount is 6,000. And it will vary depending on this interest paid by the bond. Suppose if it is some other number like 8 and 12, then do your calculations, then repeat and then get the numbers. Okay, and this can be done by writing in a matrix form. A, this is B, A dot B, A dot B is taken by a dot here. And this is the taken as, see, this is row, but when it is A dot B is taken, it will be treated like this B is a column. That's what the multiplication method that is being used in Mathematica. Okay. So now solution has been found. And this solution subtracted from that, you can see 22,000 and 28,000. This is the number that will be getting. Okay, this is how it is being used with just a mere numbers, treating like a matrices with the rows and columns. They're able to solve the problems like what we have seen here. There are many problems that can be solved with the help of this Mathematica. Okay, so let's see the matrix operation now. So A, B, C, D, this is a row, this is like a column, multiply. This is what the results that you have. For example, I have a number here, another number is here, that product 520 can be seen. So this each one can be found 160, then 240, 120 is the number. Now there are two numbers on this, two rows are here. Okay, 3 columns, 2 rows. And then this is multiplied with 80, 30, 12. So if I do that, I'll end up with there are 2 columns, 1 row. That's what it is. You can really see that column row multiplication norms which you might have studied in your schools that can be applied here. Okay. So if I do that, I'll get 2 by or 1 by 2, 1 row, 2 columns. You can see here. Similarly here, 6 to 9, 3, 7, 5, and this is 4, 8, 6. I just use it here. You can see it can be taken as it is, and then multiplied with the dot of 486. Do you see how I'm writing it? Okay, as it is, right? So you can see this 2 by 3, this one, 3 by 1. So what you have is the, what do you get? 2 by 1, you should get it. Okay, 2 rows and 1 column. That's the result. No, 1 row, 2 columns. Okay. Similarly, here you have a 1 by 3 and 2 by 3. You multiply that, and similarly here you have, of course, this is all simple explanation how to multiply and get those numbers that has been obtained, that has been given here, and that leads to 1 by 2, which is the number which I have explained to you. And here is the difference that you should be careful about. 7, 3, 10. This is the list here, row list. And here, this row, this row, this row. That's how it's being handled. Okay? You follow? So this is important for you. And then after multiplication, 43, 125. This is 1 by 2. Okay, you can write A and B separately. This is A as a column, B as a column, you return. If you do that, you carefully multiply this by, take this, multiply with A dot A here with this one, and then with this, then 43, 135 will get it. Otherwise, you can write this column 1, 2, 3, and then 498. Transpose it. When you transpose these forms in this manner, this will be get converted in this form. Then do it. Okay, transpose this, then multiply. You will get Mathematica handles this kind of rows and columns, and how the multiplication is done. Please note that dot should be used, not the into. It's not a star multiplication. It is a dot, rows and columns that should be multiplied. That's how the multiplication goes on. So you can try this also. You'll end up with 1 by 2. That is the number which is given here. Try this also, but you have a problem here. You can see here, this number are not equal. Inside number 1 by 3, 2 by 2. So there is a problem. Okay, this cannot be multiplied. That multiplication gives an error here. But if it is a tensor, like if you treat it, then you can make a tensor product, and then you can have a multiplication and results. You can see the tensor product ABC with this so-called row, with this kind of a rows to rows multiplication is handled by the tensor product. You don't worry about this for the time being. But there is a way to find out the products of this type also, but that will be treated in a different form. It is not like matrices, but it is going to tensors. Okay, I've just given this for information purpose. Later on, one can use this when you study about the stencils. Okay, and then there is a 2 by 2 and 2 by 2 by again 2 by 2 matrix by a 2 by 2 matrix. You get a 2 by 2 here, and this is what the number which is given, and this is the number that will be given. So you write it as a row of the first one, row of the second one, then make a multiplication. So this number is the 2 by 2 again. This is another number, you can try and check it. Another number you can try and check it, but you make it its generalized form A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I am avoiding this capital letters because there is going to be a E which is reserved for the exponential and C reserved for some purpose, D also for some purpose. D for differentiation, C for the differential equation solving constants, and E for an exponential. Therefore, you should try to avoid this letters when you are using Mathematica for your own defining the variables. Okay. So if I define as a variable, then it will be clashing. This will not be treated like a capital E, will be treated as a exponent. That number E value 2.718, that's the number you will be getting it in. So D is for differentiating purpose, D. So therefore you should avoid that. Therefore I made it as A, B, C, D, small letters, and multiply this. M1, M2, this is M3. This is what you have. And M1 put it in a matrix form, M2 matrix form, M2 matrix form. Please remember that if you write it here, M1 directly as a matrix form, you cannot handle them afterwards for the column and separation. Each column, each row cannot be handled, and that matrix is not available for you to use further. So therefore, you make it separately. M1 you write like this, then make it as a separate matrix form below that. Write M1 matrix form. Okay, M2 matrix form. Then you can use this M1 for other purpose. Otherwise, you have a problem. So that you, when you practice it, you will come to know that you should avoid such things. So M1 dot M2 is M3. But what happened to the M2 dot M1? Then compare this with this what you have. They're not equal. So therefore, you should please remember the order of multiplication for the matrix. When you change it, you have a different results. You can see here AE, AE plus BG. Okay, here you see AE plus CF. You have completely different results. AF plus BH. You have BE plus DF. I just reverse the order. Here CE DG, AGCH. Then you have a CF DH. Here there's a BG DH. You have a completely different result. So that should be taken care. So another possibility is that I have only one row, two columns. Here you have a 2 by 2. That can be generalized. And if I do that, I have an interesting result to show that mu x equal to A into old x plus C into old y. Similarly, mu y equal to B into old x plus D into old y. What we are referring is you are writing this mu x, mu y equal to A times old x. This is what old x. C times old y. That is what your mu x. Mu y. Next one is B into old x. See here, B into old x, D into old y. So this is what the new thing that happens. This is what your new kind of, suppose if this is like a coordinates, okay, then you should remember that this will be get transformed into this form by multiplying with the matrix, which means coordinates are getting transformed. So 2 by 2 matrix will be your transformation matrix. So this is your transformation because it transforms this xy to a some other value. Okay, therefore it's a transformation matrix. Okay, here is the number. You can see this is the number that you will be getting. Similarly here, x comma y dot a comma b comma c comma d. Okay, so I'm multiplying this new coordinates with the old coordinates which with that it gets transformed to what I'm getting it here is become a new one. Okay, that becomes ax plus cy plus bx plus dy. That's what this. equations. Okay, so this is the new x and this is new y. So these are some of the simple operations that can be done with the help of a Mathematica, and these are most of the things you are familiar. I don't think it is anything new here. Now we are going to start slowly how these matrices handle in Mathematica. For example, you write this matrix here. You can see here M can be written. This row is first, second row is second one, third row, fourth row, fifth. If you wanted to pick out the column, suppose you wanted to have a column, so what you have to do, you have to transpose this. Then this will become a column vectors. That's what will be happening. So this is M, and this M is the script letter. How do you do that? You press escape, put a small s C, put a capital M, and then press escape. That is, this is what you'll get. You can do it for all alphabets. Script letters A, for example, script letters A if you want. S, C, this is S is script for A, capital A. Then you can see this is the letter. Okay. For example, you wanted to see script letter for, suppose I wanted to have a R as a script letter and see what's happening. This is the script letters. You can generate them. So it's possible for you to have these letters. M is different from actually Mathematica will differentiate this M to that M what you have. So therefore, it is an advantage that if you use a script letters to define some of the things, only thing you should remember how to enter these script letters. Okay, that's very easy. As I said, just escape, small s, C, press any of the capital letters which you like, that will become a script letters. Okay, let me try script letters for a small case, which I have not seen. Yeah, that is also becomes different. Okay, so this is how we will get the additional variables which can be defined in Mathematica. So M is entered like this. And for making in a matrix form, what you can do, as I said, first you do script form. Let me write it as a capital W. I'm going to introduce this one. Write it as equal. I'm going to make a matrix now. What you have to do is to start with matrix, open a parenthesis here. Then go to the control, okay, enter. See, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then go to next, okay. You want to add this. Next, what you can do, go to the control itself, but add comma. Okay, I'm able to get it. Add comma, comma, comma. So this is how you'll be adding it. It's very easy to do it through the key. Then what you do, you come out. Okay, now it is the whole straight line is there and close the bracket. So this is become a matrix. Now you can enter it. Okay, you can have n by n or any m by m or n by n or m by n, whatever you like. It's possible to for you to do that. Okay, so control enter creates the column vectors. Then after making a column, decide the number of columns which you want, and then add the, after completing the column, add control comma. That gives the next, automatically generates the next column. So repeat that and you have the matrix nicely that can be entered and you will get the complete matrix which you wanted to generate. Okay, that's how it's being done. Okay, now there are two matrices given, M and N. You can see the row wise it's being listed out. So matrix form means you write it N, put it in a matrix form. Now this N is already equated to this, therefore that N is available. And then if I write like this separately, it doesn't matter for us, nothing happens to your N which is defined like this, that can be operated. Okay, now we can look at the dimensions of the matrix. This M, you can see here 5 by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 by 6, 5 rows, 6 columns. So row will be the first number, second one is the column. Okay, so now you have random integers 5 by 5. You see the 5 by 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can have 50 by 50 if you want. You just add the numbers which you can generate however big you wanted to have a mapping that can be generated. It's not a big deal at all. So I have a 50 by 50 matrix. You can find out the inverse. You can do very many things that can be done. This is what your 50 by 50 matrix is, which is an integer, which is a random form, which has been generated. And I have the 50 by 50 matrix. Okay. So we just made 5 by 5. I can have a different numbers also. M and N can be different also. Okay. So this is the random integer form which we have generated. So now we can make a table of this I plus 2j. Okay, I varies from 1 to 5, j varies from 1 to 5. You can see here that you can see 3, then yes, first one is 3 because I equal to 1, then it's going to be 3. Then vary all the j's, goes up to 11. Then next 4, 5, 6, 7. Then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because of this I plus 2j, this variation generates this. Similarly, here you can go ahead with this minus 2 to 3, j0 to 2, and I plus 2, j, which is similar, but ij's are different. So it gets modified here. Okay, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows are there. Minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. There are 6 I variation and there are 3 variation in the j, 0, 1, 2. Therefore, this is what the matrix that we have. I can have all 0 matrices, null matrix, and the null space. This is what we will be doing it to get it. And constant can be done by this constant array. This is the table in which you have a zeros constant. And I can have a upper zeros, all the triangle this 0 by using the condition I greater than or equal to j, then j plus 2j, I plus 2j. If I do that, this is what. If I less than or equal to, if I make it, I'll get other way. That's also possible. You can have array, matrix array here. You can see A, this is 2 suffixes are here, which is varying as 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 4. You can see 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. It goes up to 3 rows, 4 columns. 3 rows and 4 columns. The matrix form has been written here. Identity matrix, where the diagonal elements are 1. This is the matrix form. Diagonal matrix, where you have different values of A, B, C. Diagonal matrix, where you have a 1, which is added here. Okay, so which means this is moving up with 1 diagonal element in each one of them. Minus n is going down. A, B, C. This is what happens. So here, matrix 1, random integer 9, which means I am decided to have a numbers 9 and less than 9, 3 by 4, which means 3 rows will be there, 4 columns will be there. That's the matrix form. This is another matrix 2, 9, 3 by 4. Of course, the same thing which is there, but different numbers if you get it because of the random. Okay, so I have 2 different matrices, M1, mat1, mat2. Now, what you do, you just can combine them. If you do this with a bracket like this and make a array flatten, you'll get, see this. This is and this being combined in this form. 3 plus 3, 6 are there. And you can see it's being 2379, 2379. This was 4035, 4035. Started writing like this. If I remove this bracket and if I write it as array flatten mat1, mat2, you see, this becomes 3 by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 by 8. So you should be careful. Remember this. What form you wanted to write, that can be kept in mind and then make changes accordingly. Then another way is write it as a BM array flatten mat 1 comma 0 0 comma mat 2. What does it mean? These are all taken as zeros and these are all taken as zeros, and you will get a sort of a 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So you will get the 6 by 8 is the matrix that's happening, and all other places where you don't have the elements, that become 0 0 by this array flattening like this. So there are three possibilities. You can combine like this. Is another way to combine. And if you wanted to have the combination of both with these zeros in other places, that can also be done. And you can have a grid structures if you wanted to add a grids. Fifth place I have a grid 1 2 3 4 5. Fifth vertical line is here. 4 is somewhere here. 3 4. This is fifth place. There is a line, and another line is at the fourth place. Okay, you have a this first part of it is this. This is the second part. You can put it in this form. So you can see that zeros are separated, and the numbers whatever which is available as a mat1 and mat2, that is available for you. That's the thing that happens with respect to this matrices, and there are several operations that's possible. So let's see this. Extracting the parts of the matrices. You have so much elements that are there in this matrix. You wanted to pull it out one by one, and whatever the way you like to take it out, you can take out. For example, 2379 62593180. If I write like this, see what's happening. Mat 1 is this. Mat 2, if I take out, 6259. 6259 is the 2. Double bracket 1, the whole thing has been taken it out. Mat 1, 2, 3. Mat 1, 2, 3 is second, third element is the 5. So there is one integer here, there are two integers here, which means one integer means the whole of this list will be taken out, row list. And then if you have another number which is added, which should be within this number of list, then that number can be taken it out. For example, if I put this as a 4, then 4 which is 9 can be taken it out. Okay, so that's how it is being done. If I add mat all 3, okay, mat 1, all 3. What happens? 7, all 3, 7, 5, 8. So it seems to be some problem here. Check it now. Mat is here. Mat 2, 2, 3, mat 1, all 3. This must be all 3 should be all the we'll see all 2, then 2 semicolon 4. What happened? This one 379. So leaving the first one, then 2, 3, 4 has been. So there is 379, 259, 259, then 180. That's what this does. So all 3, comma, all comma 3 for a mat 1 is 758. 7, 5, 8. Okay. Which means third one, third one, third one. That's what it means. All the third number has been picked out. Okay. I hope it's clear. 7. If you put all 4, then 9, 9, 0 will come. Okay. All 1 means 2, 6, 3 that you would be hitting. That's what the meaning of this. Okay. So here again with the semicolons, 2, semicolon 1, semicolon 2, 4. So starts from 2, 3, 7, 9, Okay, 2, 5, 9. This one is 3. 180 is this. So that's what the meaning of this. Mat 1, all 2 semicolon and 4. So that's how this number is operated. Now we have a mat. We're making an array 5 by 5. Okay, the matrix form. You can see here 1 to 5. First row 5 columns, second row 5 columns. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth row, 5th column. So it's a square matrix. Now take 3. What does it mean? Okay, take 3. Mat, take mat 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which means up to 3 rows has been taken. So take mat minus 2 matrix form. Okay. So take minus 2, which means last 2 columns it's asked to take. You're asking to take the last 2 rows, 5, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. This completely has been taken by this numbers. Then 2, 4 is, this is what the numbers that we are taking out. 2, 2, 4, 3 and 4. We leaving the first one and the last one. Then 1, minus 1, 2. Again, you can see 1, minus 1, 2. Leave. Take the first one, leave the second one. Take the third one, leave the fourth one, and take the fifth one. See, he has given all possible options for you to handle this matrices, square matrices with the way you would like to take out, that can be taken it out. For example, here mat 2 minus 4. So you can see here 1 and 2 will be there, and minus 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, which means 1, 2 is here, 1, 1 is missing. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. Then 2, 2. There is this 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 here, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5. That's what this meaning of the 2 minus 4 matrix form. Okay, now mat all minus 3. So, which means minus 3 implies 1, 1, 4, 1, 5. 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. 2, 3, 2, 4, which means what is really happening now, it is being taken out. All minus 3, which column wise 1 and 2 has been, one first column and second column is missing. We'll look at this matrix, what we have here. Okay, 1, 3, 2, 3 it starts. 1, 3, 2, 3 it starts. Okay, first 2 columns has been left out by this method. This is another way to handle it. 2, 3 and 3, 5. So you can have the sub part of it. Okay, by 2, 4 and 3, 5, this is what the thing that happens. Similarly, 1, 4, 3 and 2, 4, 2, again, part of it. This 3 by 3 I have taken, and 2 by 2 can be taken. And also 2 by 2 also orders can also be modified by having these semicolons. So all the possibilities that are given, and you can just practice them, and if it necessary, that can be used when you do the computations, where you wanted to select the elements in this matrix the way you like it. Starting from here, there are several ways that are given to select the elements in the matrix. So this is how we'll extract the parts of the matrices. So now we have a matrix operation C and D. C plus D, this is addition, which is you are familiar. C minus D, this is the subtraction. Multiplication with this by a factor of C. And then you have taking a dot product, which is C dot D, which is a multiplication of matrix. That result is different from C into D. C dot D is different from C into D. This is the number, which you can verify how it is being computed by defining C as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then D is another matrix 3 by 3, and then multiply it, and then apply that same norms here and make sure that this is completely different from what you have from the C dot D. Transpose C. It's possible to transpose. Find the inverse. Very easy to find the inverse. C dot inverse. This is going to be unitary. Determinant of that C can be found. Then you have the array here. This is what the array. So find the inverse and what is the first element? 1, 1. This is what your first element is. Okay. So if you want to pick out any element, that can be picked out. And this is actually the determinant of this matrix value. And this is the corresponding number for the first element of the inverse. Okay. And trace of the matrix is the diagonal element. DRA is the trace. So this is how the various operations that can be done on the matrices, and this will be done often. We do multiply this and then subtract it. Okay. We rewrite the columns in a different form, rows in a different form. We will be doing it. Okay. So this is the inverse part of it. So minus and cofactors. So minus and cofactor, minus and but minors and cofactors are easy. Just have a look at here. This is the matrix. Minors are, for example, A11, you leave this row and this column. The remaining you multiply and follow the norms of this, write down the numbers. Similarly, when you go to the second element, 1, 2, leave this and this. Third, this and this. You can see the numbers here and the numbers what you have here. So you have a minus and the cofactors that you will be getting it. That's how you will be getting it. It's very simple to do it. When you are here, first the M11 is going to be the minor of this first element with the cofactors that can be found. What you have to do, leave this and this, take a product here and follow these norms. If I do that, I'll get the complete minus and cofactors of the matrix. That has been lined here, minus and cofactors. This is the matrix 5, this is 3 by 3. Minus has been found here. And of course, after finding this minus, you have to reverse it so that you will get the form which is defined here. Okay, you can see here, this and this is the multiplication factor. So you can see here, 2332, okay, and then 2233. That's what the number that you have. So that is being defined here. To get it, you just go through this problem and then follow this generalized matrix with the array. Then compare it, and you are sure that you will be getting what has been defined here is available here as a cofactor of the matrix 5. The matrix 5 cofactors. It's not very easy to do it. You can practice them and then get it. And we can find out by the way it has been defined here, cofactors of a matrix list. And minus I whole power I plus j, that is what is being done here in this hand computations. By hand we have calculated and it has been given here. There's a small mistake here. This is not 69, this is 66. Okay, that's a small slip there. So don't worry about that. So now, with this minus and cofactor, it's possible for us to find out directly what is the minus and the cofactors. For example, matrix 5A is this, cofactors are this. You can see here, 66, 18, 12, 66, 18, 12, minus 39, 9, 6, minus 39, 9, 6, minus 39, 9, 6, 7 minus 9, 10, 7 minus 9, 10. That has been found by just adding this cofactor in the matrix form. There is another interesting result connected to the adjoint and the determinant, where you can, it's possible for us to get the inverse of this matrix. You might have studied there. When you have a cofactors available, so what you can do, transpose the cofactors after getting that become an adjoint of a matrix. Okay. Then 1 by determinant and adjoint gives the inverse of the matrix. That can be checked. Very easy to check it. transpose, then that is defined as an adjoint of the matrix, and then you divide that by the determinant of the matrix, corresponding matrix, then you have eigen, so called the inverse of the matrix. Then inverse of a matrix and the matrix is the so called the identity matrix. Okay, and here is another matrix that has been verified here. This is 4 by 4 matrix. You can see this is a matrix form which has been written. Transpose the cofactors, divide by the determinant of this matrix. I have this number. Multiply that with the matrix. Inverse multiplied with the matrix. This is the number that will. So it's so clear that it's possible to find the inverse through the cofactors also. From the minus cofactors and then determinant, you combine them, okay, with the transpose of the cofactors, then you have the adjoint of the matrix. That adjoint divided by the determinant is the inverse. This is another way to find the inverse of the matrix. And it can be confirmed by multiplying the matrix again. So inverse and the matrix is the identity matrix. Okay. So this is for the different matrix operation that is possible here. Now, you have a sparse array for a given matrix. Okay, you have all elements are 0, 0, 0, except those elements you wanted to have some finite value. For those elements alone, you just give. For example, here, at the place of 1, 1, you're having A. So 6 by, and then you have the, at the place of 2, 3, this is 2, second row, third column. Letter B, that is given. Fifth row, second column. Fifth row, second column is C. And then you have a sixth row, seventh column D letter. You know, A, B, C, D ordered, all added here. The way you like to have it, that can be created. So this creation of such things is called the sparse array. Okay, so you can have a various types of sparse array matrices, and they also find a lot of applications. We are not going to spend time on this application of that. We try to learn that this is possible for us to define such things. For example, you see 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 2, 6, 7. Whatever which I have done here has been replaced by A, B, C, D. Okay, and this is something like, what is this? 8, 10. Must be sparse matrix 8 by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's okay. I have 10 columns and 8 rows. Here it is given only 6, 7 I have made it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 column, 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But here, same sparse matrix, I just added these points, but the matrix size has been increased. Okay. So this can be again increased too. The way you like it. Let me try here. 1H and 20, except those elements I wanted to look at the zeros other places, except this A here, C here. There is B. B is here. A, B, C, D. All other places are 0. So that's where this sparse matrix is useful. And I can add any element wherever I wanted to have certain numbers or certain variables that can be added. So that's the purpose for which it is being used. I think they find a lot of applications, which I have not gone through that, but you can go through them and find there will be some interesting applications of these matrices. Okay, right. So now this is the sparse array, and we can have a matrix plot here. Well, yeah, this is the, what is this? 5 by 4. So let me try here. Okay, put it in a matrix. plot, or before that I wanted to see what is this matrix look like. S5 in a matrix form, let us say. This is the matrix. Okay. First matrix is this. That is plotted here. So which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there is a 12 by 12 columns are there. Number of rows will be something like, easy thing is to find the dimension. Dimensions of what? S5. You don't have to struggle there counting the number. 16 by 12 is the dimensions of this matrix. That you can see that points here. 16 will be there in this, 12 here. This is the matrix plot of this S5 as matrix. This is another matrix, random integers. We made a matrix plot here. This is not a sparse matrix, but this is a number that are generated, but we are making a matrix plot of A that's being plotted here. You can see these plots here. It indicates the magnitudes, corresponding colors is automatically created by Mathematica. We can understand about what is the negative color range, positive color ranges, and how the color should vary. Okay, so this is what the various type of matrix and their corresponding operation that's possible through the Mathematica. Now we will try to see some of the operations with matrix operation, whatever you have learned, to study some of the simple computation. For example, this is the matrix which you have. We wanted to find out the solution to this by using a Gaussian elimination. So this is the simplest thing. Directly you can reduce, row reduce. If you ask to do it, it gives this matrix will be given and corresponding solution will be found. So this is like you have an equation which you have the 114. We are writing this magnitude here. 210 is here. This is like an equation. Three equations, three unknowns are there that will be solved by this. That solution is given by row reduction automatically by Gaussian elimination. Row reduction, it takes the Gaussian elimination, then it gives the result. Suppose if you wanted to do it by hand, manually, so take the matrix now. This is all the starting matrix that you have. D2 is replaced by D2 minus 2 times D1. You can see here that is done. D3 is D3 plus 3 times D1. D1 is D1 plus D2 matrix form. D3 is again this kind of a transformation. Then D3 is minus 1 by 11 times the D3. D2 is minus 1 divided minus 1 into D2 times, and D2 is D2 minus 8 D3. That this D1 equal to D1 plus 4 D1. If you do all this, finally you'll end up with this result. So this is what the result. That row reduction automatically takes care of that. It gives the results. This is actually the manually we try to do this Gaussian elimination method one by one, and finally we'll arrive at a result. Okay. So this is what the procedure that this has been generalized and it has been given in the row reduction. Then this result can be signed with the one single line. These are all the steps that have been performed by that row reduction of D, which is defined in the Mathematica, which we will use to do by hand, one by one, finally bring it in this form. Okay, solving the systems of linear equations. This is also being done here. So now you can see here, matrix is this, and x values are given here, x1, x2, x4, 4 unknown, and b is this one. This is something like m dot x equal to b. That's what this is. M dot x equal to b. That's what this equation is. And this is what your equation is. So m is here, dot x is here, and this is equal to b that has been done. So this is what will be given, and you will be writing these equations like this, the matrix form. Then find the determinant first. So array flatten by, now you can see this array flatten purpose. M and B has been brought together. You don't have to enter it. You see 1, 2, 5, 1, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Array flatten matrix form. What are the matrix operations you have learned that you are using it now? Row reduction is done. This is what the result. Or you can use linear solve. That's also same. You see the same values you are getting it. This is what your solution. Then you have this m dot xb, which is solving 5 equations, or how much is it? The 4 equations or 5 unknown? What is it? What is the situation? 4 equations, 4 unknowns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Yes, 4 equations, 4 unknown. That can also be done by using a solve. Linear solve, solve, and row reduction are the methods which provides exactly the same results what has been found. I don't think you have any difficulty in doing this exercise. It is very simple to do it. And what are the mathematics operation that we have learned that has been used here, and we could get this results. Either you can use the solve, linear solve, to the matrix operations. Of course, rank of a matrix that also is familiar. You can always find out what is the minus that are existing, and then if it is finally minus or 0, then it's a rank 1. Then if it is 2 by 2, it's going to be a rank 2, and then minus 3 by 3, then it's going to be a matrix which is a rank of 3. And I have given a typical example here where you can see this is the matrix 1, 1, 1, B plus C, C plus A plus B. This is BC, CA, and AB. Then you manipulate it for the case 1, A not equal to B not equal to C, A equal to B not equal to C. Then find out when A equal to B equal to C. You can find the rank is going to be 1, 2, 3, which can be done directly by using the statement rank of a matrix. You can see I'm putting it here.
Sir, rank physically means that independence.
Not independent. It says about the determinant order. What is the order in which determinant is existing? See, this is 3 by 3 determinant value. You see, determinant A. Fine?
Sir.
And here it is 2 by 2 by these conditions. You can check that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And here it is 0. So you can put it in terms of matrices in the minus, or in terms of a determinant, you call it as a determinant if it is existing with the 3 by 3, then you call it as a rank 3. If the determinant becomes 2 by 2, okay, for this, then it is a rank 2. So if it is zeros are the values of this determinant, all the 3, then it's rank equal to 1. That's how it is done. Okay, you go through this and then it's possible for you to understand that. That's why I have given this typical problem where you just take as it is B plus C, C plus A, B, and then BC, CC, CA and AB with this matrix. Do these operations and find out what is the value of the determinant. Use this condition, find the determinant values. Use this condition, then compare it with this, and you'll get an idea. Yes, this is on the rank of the matrix. It starts from 3, becomes 2, and becomes 1 with these conditions. Okay, which implies that the order of this so-called the determinant, what determinant magnitude which it is existing. Okay, here it is. You can say there are 2 determinants. Okay, when you simplify this with this condition, okay, you will end up with these 2 determinants. So we call that rank 2. Here it is 2 by 2, 3 by 3 is 0. You have only 1. Each element independent. You can clearly see here that all the rows are equal. In fact, C1, C2, all the columns are equal. See, 1, 2a, a square, 1, 2a, a square, 1, 2a, a square by this condition. Here you would see There must be two of them. One B plus C, BC. CB, you see BC, CB. This is the two of them are equal. They're different. Okay? You able to see that? This is what happens.
Yes.
With that, you can try to conclude that this rank seems to be order in which these ABCs are existing, with the A not equal to B not equal to C, and A equal to B equal to A equal to B not equal to C, and then A equal to B equal to C. That's what this results, rank equal to 1. 3, 2, 1. That's what the thing that happens. Okay. So next is orthonormal basis and the Gram-Schmidt process, where you try to orthogonalize the matrices. Now let's take this matrix what you have here. You have a vector v1, v2, v3. See the numbers now? Norm of a vector what? Norm of a vector is the, find out what is the magnitude of that vector v1. This is 30. You can see the square and take a square root of that. Square, take a square of this, add them, take a square root. So when you do that, I'm getting a norm which is v1 is equal to square root of 30. 16 plus 1, 17, 17 plus 9, 26, 26 plus 4, 30 square root. That is what this number. Similarly, I can find out for v2 and v3 also. Now, you can normalize this. This vectors, what you have here, 2, 3, 4, minus 4, 1, 0, that is being normalized, which means if I take u1 dot u1, okay, or you can find out the norm value of the u1 is going to be, okay, let me add this, this is the vectors v1, v2, v3 here. Norm of the first vector is this. Normalize this and then find the norm. That becomes 1. So this norm value goes into this, which means we are finding the unit vector. Okay. This is the vector what you have, and we are finding the unit vector, and the norm of this unit vector is going to be 1. That is being done by normalizing this v1 and find the norm which is equal to 1. I think you understand what I'm trying to say. I have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 column. You have a 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dimensions vector which you have in column vector. V2 is another vector. V3 is another vector. 3 vectors independently I'm going to handle it. It is in 5 dimensions. Now, they are normalized here, and it has been found that the magnitude is norm form of this V1 is this much. We normalize, and after normalization, its norm becomes 1, which means I'm able to find out the unit vector for this 2, 3, minus 4, 1, 0. That's what the meaning of this. Okay, so this is in a n-dimensional space, and we have here the space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5-dimensional space. Okay, so null space for V1, V2, V3 is equal to V1, V2, 3 is equal to. Okay, we wanted to find out what is the. You can orthogonalize this V1, V2, 3. What do you mean by orthogonalizing it? 5 vectors are there. All the 5 vectors we wanted to find out what would be the orthogonalization, which means mutually these vectors, what you have, okay, V1, V2, V3 must be what? What is the orthogonal conditions? For example, we are finding W1, W2, W3, which we are orthogonalizing this V1, V2, V3. This is the numbers which we are getting in. W1 dot W gives 1. W1 dot W2, W2 dot W3, W3 dot W1 goes to 0. This is orthogonal. These vectors are orthogonal now. Okay. And norms are normalization is 1, 1, 1. They are normalized. Okay, so this is important concept which you should remember. There is a vector V1. It is like 3 vectors what we have. We try to construct a norm for it, which is magnitude of the vector, and divide by this magnitude of the vector by the vector, you will get a unit vector. That unit vector norm is equal to, the unit vector is normalized, okay, along the direction. So now same thing is done here for the, instead of 3 dimension, we have a 5 dimensional. That's what the indication of the vector space. Okay, more than can have a large number of numbers that you can have. Okay, and those vectors can be mutually perpendicular. So we have a set of vector v1, v2, v3, and we have normalized them. Then we are finding the orthogonalization. Orthogonalize this v1, v2, v3, which has been written as w1, w2, w3. If I take the dot product of the w1, w2, w2, w3, w3, w1 is going to be 0, 0. Or you can do w1 with w2, w3, w2 with w3, w4, so w2. So if you do that, it always satisfies this orthogonality conditions. And they're all unit vectors that can also be checked here. That's what the thing that happens. And this is equally applicable in the functional form also. Okay, you have orthogonal functions. So now we will take it as a polynomial function now here. First one is 1 by square root of 5. Wt is x and w3 is x square and w4 is x cube. Put it in a functional form also. Again, you can check it now. So with these conditions, you find out the orthogonalization. Okay. So we'll go to this starting point. Where is it? You are here and it has been entered, normalized, null space. What is this null space implies? They are linearly independent. We'll see that. We'll see some more about that. Linearly independent. These vectors are linearly independent. Okay. Linear independence is defined conditions. Then that being orthogonalized and the orthogonalization is being confirmed. And that can also be applicable for the functions also. So we just try here, null space enter. We try to orthogonalize this. Okay, norm is 1. Then you go ahead with this. If it is a functionalized with this integral form, so I think this W1, W is not been functionalized, and with this we proceed now. Do this. Now it is being normalized with functions. And this is the functional form. V3, V3 is normalized. V3, V2 is orthogonal. So this is how this is being done, and this orthogonal property can be checked now for any value of A. This is manipulate U, V, W, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. This is orthogonal vectors. Okay. Now, orthogonalize the value, evaluate this 1 plus A, 1 plus B, 1 plus C, vary this A, B, C. Now we can change the parameters and look at this whenever it is. You can see here -3, -3, -3, ABC. Okay, -1. You can check -2, -1, 0. So then this -3 equal to so here just we are looking at the orthogonalization. Orthogonalize the vectors with respect to this A value. 1 plus of A, 1 plus of B, 1 plus of C. A varying from -1, -3 to +3 in steps of 1. B is -3 to +3 steps of 1. So you can see here when this A and B are equal, B and C are equal. Minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. This is what the orthogonal vector now. So now suppose if I go to this minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 is this minus 2 with this flip to minus 2. And minus 1, minus 3, minus 3. Now you can see 0, 0, minus 0, minus 1, 0, 0, 0, minus 1. This is the A becomes 0, 1, 2, 3. Similarly, you can keep it anywhere you like and then change this B and see how the changes are taking place. And see that orthogonality will be satisfied. Similarly, keep A and B variable and check the variation of the C. And C can be retained, B and A can be changed. Okay. So all the possibilities can be explored and make sure that this orthogonality property will be consistently satisfied for all the values when it is evaluated the orthogonalization of vectors with the corresponding values of this 1 plus A, 1 plus B, 1 plus C. That will be consistent. That can be cross-checked because every time this function is being orthogonalized. So if I take the same function and take the magnitude of that, when you integrate it, I'll get normalized value. Otherwise, it goes to 0. So there are several functions that are available which satisfy this orthogonalization conditions. You know, the differential equations we have seen, Hermite, Lager, Legendre, Bessel, you take all these functions and you can very well check these orthogonality properties. If you have n values same, okay, that can be normalized and you'll get a normalized form of this result. If you take different values n, then you find that goes to 0, which is orthogonal property of those functions. So there are very many interesting functions which satisfy this. Here is a typical case where we have taken x and x square and x cube and we have shown it. But there are special functions, beneficial functions. Okay, they satisfy these orthogonal properties, and which is being exploited in our quantum mechanics so much. Quantum physics has been done a lot with the help of this orthogonal property. So that is what the thing that happens, and it's possible for us to understand this orthogonalization very easily, keeping these three vectors which we are familiar. But here we have taken a vector v1 which is a 5-dimension. v2 is another 5-dimensional vector. v3 is another 5-dimensional vector. So n-dimensional space, it's possible to see or possible to construct the orthogonal vectors. What does it mean? That which means that I can have this v1, v2, 3 combinations normalized form. For example, v3, v4, v4 comes 1. And then v1, v1, 1. Similarly, v4, v4, v5, v5. If I change any numbers here, then it goes to 0, which is satisfying the orthogonal pair, which means the axes are mutually perpendicular, which is very difficult for us to visualize for the vectors more than 3 dimensions, but you do have functions which satisfying the orthogonality properties. Okay. So now, changing the shapes with the matrices. We will visualize these things, the transformation which we have seen, no? Old x, new x. You remember that? You remember that old x, new x, what has been? New x, new y, which is connecting to old x and the old y, this one. Okay. This we are going to look at now and see how things get changes. And one particular value, there will be also interesting. So that's what we are going to demonstrate now. Yes, yes, almost close to the figure. Now you can see this is the number which is plotted here. This is the coordinates 0, 0, goes on, and this is something like a picture of a dog. Just a list plot of this data points, join them, miss all. Okay, grid line plot style, maybe there's a red. This is what these data points, which are shown here, and I just connected them are the coordinate points. and connected one by one continuously by moving like this. Okay, that's what done here. Okay, is it clear? Start from 0, 0, then proceed one by one. Okay, and then connect them. All that is needed has been connected. So probably this is 0, 0. Second one is 0.23, 0.70. 0.23, 0.70. Okay, then they're going like this. Continue, continue, continue. Just go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, come back. Come here, come here, come here. Finally, you'll be back to this point. Okay. Right. So this is the picture which we have. So now this picture, if these coordinate points are given, now I can change the shape of this by just simple operations. For example, this is the data of points. I'm multiplying a matrix 4, 0, 0, 4. Okay. Now, if I make a plot of that again, you can see this is the 2 by 2 diagonal matrix. What happens now? The size of this can be increased. Okay. All this taken with that dot data points dot with the 2 by 2 matrix, which is 4 by 4 matrix. Okay. Now, same thing can be done with the various combinations that are possible here. Or you can start with ones and zeros and play with that and understand that, and then change the numbers and see consequence of those numbers also. Okay. So this I make it as, let me try here. First this plot. I'm getting this plot here now. T0 plot. I make it as a T4, where the matrix is being multiplied with this T4 here. If I make a plot of this, here, over here. Instead of this, I'll make it as a T4, the data points. I remove this and look at this. Look at the size of this. See, this maximum is 2.5. This has come to the 4. This is close to 10. What you can do, this I'll make it as a T1 is here. I'll make it as T1. Probably if you combine, show T0 and T1. Let me cut what is happening. Not TO. This must be T0. Plot range must be given. Plot range. Maybe you can see this. See that? This velocity here, and it become massive size. Just the multiplying by a matrix 4004. Okay, the same data points shifted here, and this is become a massive size here. Okay, like this, you can do several transformations on this. Let us try to look at a transformation of the type -1001. And if I look at this, it's a T1 here again. I'm multiplying with the -1004. You see what's happening now? T1. What happened? Is there any difference between this to this? This is the T0 here. I have to change the T0. Okay, T0 can be retained as it is, no problem. And I am going to see T1 and T0 of this type. You can see. What happened? It's getting inverse, is it not? You can see the axis here, x-axis. like a mirror image of this, right? I just multiply with this minus 1, 0, 0, 1. Then replotted, this is what the result that I am getting. Okay. So now what you do, you take this, and I wanted to see all possible variations. Okay. Then check what happens when I change the matrix with the all possible values of this ij, nm, lk from minus 1 to 1, minus 1 to 1. It's also minus 1 to 1, minus 1 to 1. Okay. So that's another way to look at this. A simple program which can be written so that these transformations can be looked at. And this is what the initial picture that you have. Now, this is the data point as it is. Now I'm having this m values. Now you see. Okay, let me keep this as it is. I'll just take this to this. Otherwise, I'll take this is 0. See, this is again, I'll make it as 0. Whatever. This is mirror image, and then again, this being reflected back again. So now, suppose if I change this to this other side, it goes on the. Then if I change it, it goes to the other side. You are able to see that. Now, if I change this, it's going on the other side. See the transformation that takes place with respect to the variation in the matrix N, M, L, K, which is varying from minus 1 to plus 1, all of them are. That variation brings out a phenomenal changes in the picture, what you observe here. See. See. Right? If I take this 1, it goes and matches with that. Okay? You follow what I'm trying to say here? N 1 0 0 1. This is the diagonal matrix. Okay, with the 1 1 is the 1 0 0 1. This is the matrix. This is what the original points which you have generated. Now, if I push to this other side, this is an image of this. If I take this, it goes to the other side of it. Now you can see consequence of the other vector which I changes. Okay, putting it out the image. Okay. And this one again. This is the point. It's all different points. Okay. Of course, if I take this and it becomes a line, this is going to the other side of it. These become lines. So you can see the transformation that takes place with respect to a simple matrix multiplication. It's amazing. The image becomes a line, or it can be moved the different geometry also can be changed. This is how the transformation takes place. Okay. Try to understand this. There's the coordinate transformations by a small matrix which is being multiplied by this. This matrix is. Now, if I change this magnitude of that numbers what you have diagonally, then size can be increased or decreased. Not only the rotation, size can also be increased and decreased by having this diagonal numbers. And then correspondingly, these changes can also be brought in. That's how it's being done. And in which you can look at what is having the eigenfunction, eigenvalue, which is special value. We'll see that a little bit after that. So this is the transformation of these coordinates. And then you have the, of course, matrix powers, which I have given here, power of the matrix. Linear vector space, what you have. So 2 linearly independent vectors, what does it mean? 3 linearly independent vectors, what does it mean? This can be seen with the simple matrix, what you have here. Find out the product with AB, that's something like AU, BV, and CW. Find the roots. If it goes to 0, the roots are 0. You can see here ABC are 0. Okay. then they have become a linearly independent vectors. Otherwise, it is going to be linearly dependent. That's all. Independent dependence is very simple. I have vectors here, UV, A and B, multiply. Then you have the result. Okay. Now I have given three vectors: orthogonal vectors, linear independent vectors, linear dependent vectors. You can find out these norms, whatever which is explained, and that has been described here. You can easily check whether this is satisfied or not for the all the three vectors, orthogonal vectors. And then null space, which is a zero vector, that can also be confirmed along with that. So you have the span and linear independence can also be confirmed for the various vectors that we have, because once you have all this idea, this will become very simple afterwards. Null space equal to 0, therefore it is linearly independent vectors. That's what this linear independence referred here. Okay. And I have given an example, and normalization, orthogonalization also is given described here, which already I have described it. And the simple eigenvalue, eigenfunction is very easy for us to understand. I have a matrix, multiply with the x, ax equal to lambda x. Okay. So you can see here, the vector is being scaled by a factor of 5. This is A is the matrix. This is the matrix. I have a vector here. X is a vector, and Ax equal to 5 times the x. 5 times the x. Okay. So this is the eigenvalue 5, and eigenvector is x, which is 1, 2. That is what this being described here. And this may not be the case for every value of this x vectors. For example, if I take 1, 1 vector, you have a column vector 1, 1. If I multiply this with this matrix, I find there's going to be a shift, scaling and rotation. If that happens, your eigenvalues will be a problem here. But what is happening if it is expanded like this, scaled by a factor, then you have a Ax equal to 5x. But here it is going to be a rotation plus scaling also takes place. So your simple eigenvalue eigenvectors imply that you are multiplying a matrix on the vector which is being scaled by lambda into x. That's another vector which is the lambda here. So your lambda is sitting here. And you can see here this is lambda. 5, this 5 can be taken out. It becomes 1 by 1, 1 and 2. Column is 1, 2. See? Now this is eigenvalue, this is eigenvector. So x is column vector 1, 2 for this matrix here. Here it is completely different. It is scaled and rotated also. So therefore, that's not the complete eigenvalue, eigenfunction equation. That there is a shift and a translation. Whereas here it is having the same direction, only with the scaling factor that's going to be here. So that is the reason why we will be getting this. This can be verified, and we have plotted here to show this V1, V2, this with a shift, and this is just by changing the scale. Okay, so now this is a typical example, AV lambda V. This is very simple because we have done enough, and there is way to do it. Eigenvalues, eigenvectors. Find out directly, and then multiply that and cross check it. There is a method, second method. You can check it by using the eigenvectors and multiply it and make sure that you have eigenvalue, whatever which you have found can be obtained here also. This is 1, 1 vector that can be found here as a vector. Similarly, 1, 2, 2, 1. By using a minus lambda into b equal to 0, this is also known to you. I have just described here how to get this value. That has been pictorial form has been represented here. For example, when it is matching with this, for example, the vector what we have here, I can rotate this, change this vector. You can see here, this is the A variations. Okay, I just fix this one as it is. Okay, so you can vary this and bring it to the form here. And when it is matching here, you will get the eigenvalue common factor you can see here. Vector will be there, it's possible. So 1.17 becomes 1, 1 is the eigenvalue here, but exact value is also possible by changing this magnitude. Okay. This is opposite direction, change of sign alone. And all other places, you don't see that. There is going to be angle which is involved, except one particular direction, which is an eigenvector. That is why particular characteristics. This is the characteristics values of these vectors and the scaling factor. Okay, 1, 2, 2, 1. Okay, you can see that that's specific value that can be fixed out now. And you can see u vector and k. And if I take the lambda value outside, then you would get the eigenvalue and corresponding eigenvectors. Okay, and this is another possible direction where you can have the exactly same result. Now you can change this wherever you like and look at the result. Similarly, another vector is given, and in which you can see here 3, 1, 0, 2. This is lying along this direction. Okay, this is the vector, and you can see this has a eigenvalue 3, which can be taken out. Okay, vector is 1, 0. Again, this also can be changed. A vector with all possibilities. You have except one direction. Okay, that can be fixed out and then can be measured. Similarly, you can do it with a circle. This is a circle that can be converted in an ellipse form with an eigenvalues, and then you can see, just a minute, just plot this whole thing and then take it, and you can study the geometry of the ellipse using the eigenvalue eigenvectors, evaluate these cells. Then here, circle will be there, then multiplying factors, eigenvalue eigenvectors will be there, and you can fix this vectors here. And you can see how this is going to operate here. Ellipse connected to the circle by the matrix multiplications. Okay, and these equations can also be solved. Through the equation also you'll get it, you will get the exactly same ellipse. Okay, and the magnitude also can be cross-checked, parameters can be cross-checked. So you can do the detailed calculations based on this. The rotational dynamics completely can be described. Another thing is space shuttle. Okay, this is a space shuttle, data are available, and you can really do the rotations. You can see here, this is the theta rotation. Okay, and this is the phi. Sorry, going out of screen probably. Okay, let me just check it now. By plotting it now, again, bring it back to this. Evaluate the cells. Yeah, just come back now. This is the rotation 3 dimensions. This is the phi. Okay, this is phi. This. Okay, so theta rotation can be clearly seen. Phi will be little difficult to see. See this? This is another. It can be seen. All this is just by matrix multiplication that is being done. It is being demonstrated here. So, and through this we have eigenvalue eigenfunction that also has been used here to solve the certain geometrical problem, which is a circle within a connecting to the elliptic motions. The geometry of the ellipse using this eigenvalue, the eigenvectors with a simple circle cos theta and sin theta. This is easy for you to go through the program, you can understand, and all the equations required for the ellipse can also be derived here, and then that has been shown. This is the ellipse which is being generated through this so-called the matrix -2, 1, 1, 7. That's what the manipulation has been done. Okay, so this is all about your eigenvalue and eigenfunctions and linear vector algebra. I think Shaheen must be having a 3B1 Brown. You remember that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That also you can give it to the students. That website link. They can go through them and understand them. Linear algebra. So this is what.
Yes, sir. I'll share it.
Yeah, you can share that also. I'll send this one also. People can use that. With that, I'm sure that you will understand a lot about this linear vector space and how that is being exploited. And your the so-called matrix mechanism, no, that quantum mechanics is based on this completely. Okay, is based on this linear vector space. Okay, so any questions, any clarifications? Students are there or they are? Yeah, there are some 17 people are here. Good, great. I hope we can enjoy these programs, which will be, you can practice them. It's not
Yeah,
a,
sir, it is
not
really whatever you showed are really which we
yeah.
did not learn it before.
Yeah, that's right. Because we have limited with the 3 dimension, but you can visualize 4, 5, 6 n-dimensional vector space because functions are orthogonalized and functions behaving as a vectors and their orthogonalities can also be understandable. And then this, you can see how the technological applications are, engineering and technological applications of this. No? Just one matrix multiplication changes completely the geometry of this. Okay. And that's what being done in 3 dimension here with the help of multiplying a matrix, which is transform the whole of these eigenvalues or the coordinates. You can see. Are very beautifully handled by this number variations. Okay. This is the matrix variation which brings this such a beautiful coordinates changes. Okay. And you
So
might
the eigenvalue complex eigenvalues reflects some sort of rotation or something like
no, it is something like you have a x and y axis. If you make it as a complex quantity, things will be simple. That's all. Here we are all the time showing real form, no?
Yes, sir.
See, actually, what you are trying to talk about complex is very simple. I have shown that -1 vector, -1, 0, 0, 1 multiplication of this matrix. See the transformations. Image, I could see that. Do you see the image of that dog, what I have shown? I am multiplied by -1. Where is it? See? Look at this one. This one, no? This is actually
Yeah, rotation.
This is initially that is the coordinates. Okay. All these coordinates,
Yes,
I'm multiplying a matrix -1, 0, 0, 1. This is nothing but you are multiplying the data by a factor I. You have a coordinates, na?
yeah.
Complex quantity I axis, y axis is IY. This is X. You multiply with the I all the coordinates. It is equivalent to multiplying by a 90 degrees. That shift will be there. That image will be get. Okay, mirror image of that can be seen. This is the mirror image of this. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this can also be again mirror image of this can also be seen by having another minus sign on this here. You see here. Yeah, I wanted to show you that. This is what you are, I make this is 0. Okay, this is 0. Okay, this is, see, -1 and -1. -1, 0, 0, -1. See, there are two, there is a one reflection here, another reflection which brings this here. That's what the minus sign here. You follow? See, 1, -1, 0, 0, 1 brings this here. See, -1, 0. Okay, 0, 1, I'll take it to the 1. You see, just come to this point. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wonderful.
See, you can understand how this matrix multiplication phenomenal changes that it brings. And then you take this one and for any values, you can move it to the left and right. Okay. And you just change this one. You are bringing it up, and this is the vertical shift, this is horizontal shift. Correct? All this is done by this matrix. Okay. And at particular points, you see, you become a line. This is the typical eigenvalue situation, is it not?
Yes, sir.
This is the typical eigenvalue situation. That is possible in different see, negative side, which we have just mentioned now. See? This is the characteristic values. The coordinates become, you can find out what is the corresponding eigenvectors and eigenvalues. So you would.
So can that be told that it is rotating vertical to the plane?
It is precisely, that's what you are trying to do. See, IJKLM different values imply this is something like having a, you have a cos theta, sin theta, minus sin theta, cos theta. Exactly same thing. Those things which you have put it in the form of a numbers as it is, you can put it as a rotational value by theta also. This is actually
Yes,
rotation. This is actually rotation. Correct, na? Which I have shown
Yes,
it
sir.
for a 3-dimension. The 3-dimension case I have shown theta and pi. Look at this theta variation here. You keep it here. See, theta variation is, look at here. Okay. This is the rotation.
Yes, sir.
Now you see the matrix number changes, na?
Yeah. Both.
So here also, in fact, here I have used this rotation matrix has been used by these angles. Rotation matrix itself has been taken there and we have used it. In 2-dimension also it can be done. So if I do this alone, you can see they are giving an options for rotation for all the possible 3 axes. This is with respect to the axis it rotates. Then this is with respect to the vertical axis, and this is with respect to the horizontal. Okay. Its own axis is this. Okay. Correct? This is with respect to the vertical. And this is with respect to, these numbers are displayed in the panel in the flight, no? The fellow, he knows how to operate, when, what is the location, what angle we are moving, and when to drop the guns for the opponent. All can be decided by these numbers which are available on the screens. Okay. So like a magic number that will be there on the screen. So when he is on his, if he wants to take a multiple turn about his axis, this is what he will be doing it. Parallelly, this can also change this direction, then make a rotation again. Okay. These are all just playing with these numbers. Amazing. Really amazing things. Really amazing to see that. And when you really look at in terms of applications, now there are unbelievable applications that you would find. Okay.
So here a translation can also be incorporated.
Yes, it is possible. You can incorporate. The translation has not been included here. The stationary position with all about its own axis, and then pi and theta. Actually, you have to bring the translation also. If you bring the translation, it will be wonderful to see that. So R also can be incorporated. So it should be shown along with that also. This, when it is making round, it should, translation also should be shown. But we have not included. It can be included. In principle, you can define a region, and then within that region, you try to see that R also changes plus all this theta phi and also changes. Okay. That is the.
Sir, can you give some reference books?
Well, okay, I'll add them. I'll add them and send it to you. Okay. Some of the reference books there, because these programs, there are some books which gives a lot of interesting programs all about this matrix and handling the matrix. With the program, mathematical program also available. But it all depends the authors. If it's a mathematician, his interest will be different. If it's a physicist, his interest is different.
Yes, sir.
So
yes,
that
sir.
will vary, but still it doesn't matter. Some of them will be definitely it will be useful for us. So this is what the.
Sir, I tried to Google some applications of eigenvalue, eigenvectors. I didn't get much books. Maybe my searching will not
No,
be
no, no.
proper.
I think searching is not enough. There are so much is available. So many books. Probably I just wanted to check. I can close this now. This program I'll close it now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't save. Save it. Well, I wanted to just check some of them which I have collected some time back. Well, desktop, Mathematica course, physics and Mathematica. This is completely mathematical base. This is the mathematician. Okay. And then thinking about doing mathematics, that's not necessary now. Changing the shapes, okay, calculus, for young people, linear algebra. This is another interesting book. These two are interesting. This and another book by one more author, maybe this. Vector space, thinking about doing mathematics, shapes and this thing, calculus for youngsters. Two books I think I have right now. I'll send it. It will be useful. Survival guide. Yeah, this book will be linear algebra survival guide. Okay, this is a mathematician who has written this. So these are all only based on this linear algebra alone. Okay, Mathematica based. One more book which is quite interesting, which I believe I have kept it somewhere. I'll just check it and then send it to you. Okay. Okay, I'll just check them. I think one or two somewhere I have kept it. This is for the next lesson. I'll send some of them, no problem. Okay. I'll give you the references and one or two texts also. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can close it now. Now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can have the next class by Monday. If everything goes well, on Monday you can have it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, once
Fine,
again.
fine, fine. Thank you. I'll close it now. Thank you, and off.
Okay. Thank you, sir.